Hello, welcome back to the podcast. Tonight we are vibing. Look at this. Look at this vibe. Look at this aesthetic. I got the blue energy, and we're on. I was gonna stream this one live, but I can only stream the Twitch apparently without buying Streamlabs Prime. So because I'm not gonna pay for that right now, I gotta record it and then upload it the old-fashioned way. So that's what we're doing, and I'm gonna try to go the full hour tonight. But regardless, let's just jump into it. Honestly, I don't know precisely what I want to talk about besides the fact that I really want guests. So just right off the bat at the start of the show, if any of you listeners, I can count on at least 10 people to listen to my show. If any of you listeners actually want me to have someone on, literally comment it or let them know. DM me on Twitter, join the Discord, message me in the Discord. It's in the description of all of my YouTube uploads, and we can set it up if I feel like talking to them, because I just want guests, I want more guests. We can make a new intro screen thing with the music that Liam made, our beautiful Madeline 13 channel musician Liam, with his based beats. I can't appreciate him enough. I really can't. He does all that for free. I really can't thank him enough. Honestly, it's great. He's amazing. And yeah, so let me know if you want to have anybody on here, and we can try to set it up, because I want to branch the show out more, so it's not just me talking like this every day. But yeah, Monday, July 26th, 2021. Welcome to the era. Welcome to the not so new era. The old era, I guess. The old order of things. God damn it. I hate when my hair puffs up in the summertime. I hate that kind of frizziness. Honestly, it's just very unappealing to me. But I've been watching and listening to a lot of dating shows, and John Zerka, basically, the famous Twitch guy who's had Infrared and Destiny on his show a couple of times recently. Try to fucking make it so you can see the wolf above my head. It's the aesthetic we're working with tonight. It's like I got Avatar blue skin, but I I've been watching Zerka's weird rip off of Raj or Austin show dating thing. And the types of conversations that people will have on there, honestly, I don't really enjoy listening to the one that was it was Destiny, Zerka, Infrared, and that Sarada. That was holy shit, internet Hall of Famers all talking together, Jesus, it was so cool, laying in my bed watching that. What part of the end of that I caught live was so cool. But because it's I'm just staring in awe at my screen. I'm like, holy shit, these are internet giants. These people are, and they're all talking right now. It's so cool. You know what I mean? You watch people for so long, and then they cooperate and collaborate. It's so fucking damn. It was very exciting to watch that. But the types of conversations that they have are kind of honestly difficult for me to relate to, because it's they talk about everything in terms of like the parameters of like how men relate to women, you know what I mean? And like how women treat men. And like because of the fact that I'm a trans woman, it's like all of my relationships I've had have been kind of like cuz I've never actually officially dated a man. I've never officially dated a man ever. Um all of my official relationships I've had and the majority of all like overall like romantic or sexual relationships I've had have been with women. So it's like and cis women at that. So it's like I can't really relate to the whole like heterosexual vanilla monogamy kind of dating discourse because that's just not been my experience. You know, like I'm just not I don't fall into that category whatsoever in any of those three ways. So it's very like it's very like I don't know the word. Like basically some of the things that they say kind of make me uncomfortable like because it's just like dude, you're making such an oversimplification and like I don't even know what you mean when you say like men, for example, like you know what I mean? Like it just kind of I think the conversations all those conversations always end up being way too overly simplistic for me personally. Cuz like I've done like a little bit of academic work about gender theory and stuff. So it's I'm just in that space where it's like I've looked beyond common sense about that issue basically. And because I have that perspective, not to mention my personal life, but because I have that theoretical background, it's very kind of like frustrating to listen to these conversations a lot of the time. But it's also interesting because it makes me think like because they talk about how I mean Zerka kept mentioning he kept trying to talk about how like oh women play games with men and it's like of course they do but like he was very insistent on that point that like like you know what I mean like just like tropes like that are just kind of like I feel like on a Twitch debate panel or a Twitch show you can't really you won't really get deep in depth you know what I'm trying to say like introspective like very insightful commentary where you actually like figure out um what's really going on. Like I just feel like you almost just won't get that by virtue of the fact that these are Twitch streamers and it's like it's just kind of honestly most of the debates I see, most of the debate panels I watch lately on Twitch politics and like on YouTube are just horrible. Just, even if it's just politics, like not even dating or relationships, but just politics. Like, oh my god, dude! Like, you honestly have to be like, where do they find these streamers? Like, you honestly have to be stupid. It seems to like some flavor of cringe to get on to even get your foot in the door with a lot of these debate panels. Like, and I've talked about this before on the show, like where the margin of debate is always kind of like too narrow, where you're just having a spat about what words like you're just playing language games and contributing to the reduction of all discourse to just purely language games and it's just kind of like cringe to me, you know, like and how everything gets reduced to individual moral decisions. So you're just arguing about like, oh, who's allowed to say this word and in what context. And it just gets boring. And like it's so embarrassing cuz you get on there or somebody gets on there and they start talking about gender, right? Or there's a debate panel about gender and like transgender people and trans politics, and nobody can talk about the fact that like gender is, especially on a like, nobody, it bothers me how it seems like nobody seems to have a theory of how gender works that actually includes everyone. Like, you know what I mean? Like nobody seems to make it the goal of their thinking about the subject of gender to um I don't really like the term valid, but to validate trans people and queer people's identities, cuz they always have to somehow sink back into saying that it's somehow biologically determined, and I just think that that is such a pitfall. Like, here's the thing. We're diverging a little bit, but I'm going to get back to the Zerka dating thing in a second. But like, here's the thing. The thing about trans people is that we basically open up the space, or we should, I think, logically speaking, open up the space in discourse and in our thinking as a culture to think about gender in ways that are absolutely removed from the realm of the biological and the physical. You know what I mean? Like, that is that, to me, that is the very interesting thing that our existence reveals and introduces into like the realms of theory and our thinking, how we think of ourselves as human subjects. You know what I mean? But for some reason, we're just stuck. We're stuck in this place discursively and culturally where we just, for some reason, the measurement for validity seems to be biology. And I think that entire thing is just a mistake, because it's like I just said, like, the interesting thing that we reveal is that we should be thinking about gender in a way that isn't biological. But for some reason, people find it very difficult to do that. And I think, like I just said, the reason why that is because we're accepting the framework of debate as reactionaries put it forward. Which is to say that it's all biologically determinate. But the first thing that you learn when you learn anything about gender beyond sex is the fact that it's fucking social. And to me, what that has always meant is the fact that, like, it just isn't biological. It is purely cultural. So I don't know how people have forgotten or foregone that in the discourse, especially people who are on the left, quote unquote. But it's like, I think we're just doing it all wrong in that respect. Yeah. But back to the Zerka dating thing, I guess. Like, it's interesting how they talk about, like, it's interesting how they talk about cheating, because it's like, they seem to think that, like, it's a very strange line that they had to walk, it seems, or that they have to walk, because it's like, it seems like I don't even know which point I want to bring forward first right now. Because it seems like, number one, there is this kind of double standard that does exist where people seem to think that, like, it's okay for men to cheat, but it's not okay for women. Like that seems that seems to be like a and the way that they excuse that is they basically say that like a man can fuck another woman and it doesn't mean anything beyond just having an orgasm basically. But if a woman fucked another man, it would like inherently mean something more than just getting off and then being able to like go back to your partner as if nothing changed. You know what I mean? And I just think that that's not true. Like if 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 that can be true, like if a cis man can fuck, he's dating a woman and then he fucks another woman and then it's literally just to get off and then he can just return to his relationship. I feel like that the same thing can be true of a woman. You know what I'm saying? Like there's definitely a woman who's like that. You know what I mean? All I don't believe that there are like cuz I've like especially when you spend a lot of time on the internet, you see a lot of crazy shit. So I don't really believe that there's any type of human being that doesn't exist. Like there's every possible configuration that you could possibly think of exists. Like so I don't like speaking in those terms of vast generalizations about things like that because it's like you're probably just saying something that isn't the truth, you know? And I think that's a weird double standard to have because that's also definitely not true of all men. Like Zerko was saying, like he just could never cheat because he tried one time and he literally like couldn't get hard. Like you know what I mean? Like not all hashtag not all men, but like you get what I'm saying. Like not all guys are capable of that, I don't think. You know what I mean? And there must be women who are. You know what I'm saying? But even that is a weird example because basically what you're saying is that you're like using someone else to masturbate and then like like it's kind of strange. Like that's just a weird like why wouldn't you just have sex with the person you're dating at that point? You know? If it's just to nut. Like you know what I mean? It's just a weird example. But moving on from that, this is such a god. Last time we talked about like all this heavy political topics and like this time I'm literally just like rambling about like sex and shit. But like you get what I'm yeah, that's what we're doing tonight. It's a more chillaxed episode where I be more human with you. Um and personal I guess is the word, personal. But like and I find here's the other problem with double standards like that. I feel like that reinforces because here's the thing. I do not think that any problems that people have with the way that the genders relate to each other and the way that relationships work and the dating world in our society, I don't think that any of that or like even like patriarchy and like sexism as a problem, misogyny as a problem. I don't think that any of that and like sexual violence is what and like sexual abuse. I don't think that any of that can be reduced down to a purely biological thing either. I think that literally the social ideals that we conceive of for the genders then cause problems for people who fit into them. And likewise, I think that monogamy as a structure also causes a lot of its own problems within it. It's like an imminent critique kind of mindset. Like how Marx critiques capitalism by showing like it breaks itself down. That like I see a lot of things in the social world like that, like through that lens. Like the thing itself as a social structure is what's causing all the problems. Like, I have a better definition and conception of quote unquote toxic masculinity, for example, than a lot of feminists, I will say. I think it seems like, because it's like, and like liberals, because it seems like people literally want to say that being a man is bad, and that's just not what it means. Like, that's literally not what the concept means. What it is it's like a way of thinking about masculinity that is um what would the word be? It's a way of conceiving of masculinity that basically creates abuse, is my definition of it. It's not like by virtue of being a man you are toxic. What it is it's like there are certain ideals that are wrapped up in the idea of being masculine itself that are harmful to not only women but men at themselves as well, both internally and in their relationships. Um, and I don't think that that's such an outlandish thing to say, because you could literally be like walking down the street and you can, or like be out in public somewhere, or even like with your friends, and you will, if you have the eye for social analysis, you will be able to like point out specifically what the problems are with people's relationships, just based on this like social cultural theory. So like a perfect example of this basically is the way that somehow being masculine is supposed to mean to a lot of people like shielding all of your emotions within yourself and just acting like you have no feelings other than rage. Like anger is encouraged because it's like, oh yeah, you're aggressive, you're being manly. But then like any kind of like sadness or affection or like vulnerability is heavily discouraged by toxic masculinity. Like a lot of guys feel like they can't express their natural emotions, it seems, because they will be called like wimpy or like weak, basically. They will be degraded, and their masculinity will be attacked and degraded if they like cry when they're sad, or like, or the flip side of that is if they are like affectionate with other men, like friend in a friendly way, then that is viewed as like homosexual or like feminine, you know. That critique applies very well because that's really common. And like the whole point is basically the fact that that isn't some God-given way of the world. You literally could just change your conceptions and you wouldn't have these problems anymore. Like, you know what I mean? And there are a lot of people, like there are a lot of thinkers who are trying to basically like um and just a lot of regular people who are trying to embody a positive ideal of what masculinity means. And I think that that is a very honorable kind of pursuit, because it's like I don't really see um a society where we don't allow people to just feel the full human spectrum of emotions without attacking their gender identities. Um as conducive of anything beyond abuse. Like that's literally like if you teach somebody to keep everything that they feel inside, it's going to come out one way or another, and it's probably going to hurt people. Like, you know what I mean? Like repression causes a lot of pain for people in their lives and in their relationships, is what I'm basically saying. And that So this is part of what we always call, us Deleuzians always call, the social psychic repression apparatus, because one of the things that a lot of psychoanalysts and psychological thinkers get wrong and oversimplify is they naively assume that somehow repression only occurs within one individual's isolated psychology, um, without having been sourced in the first and foremost place from some kind of social repression. And that's just not the case. Social repression needs psychic repression in order to function, and psychic repression comes from social repression. It's a whole intricate system. So you can't really just claim that, oh, you've just repressed this in your mind, your unconscious, like with that kind of vulgar Freudian analysis of something, because of the fact that that wouldn't have happened internally if there wasn't some kind of external pressure for that to have occurred. So, and like obviously what that would mean is that would have to come from some kind of social context. And I think that's way more common than people think. But I also do think that just because, here's the thing that people have to understand as well, is the fact that just because somebody is like not, okay, I'm going to say this in the reverse way. Just because somebody is like a traditional man, like they're like big and muscular and wide and like very manly, that doesn't mean that they will be abusive to you. That's actually I feel like that's a common belief in left-wing circles, that like people who are men are just to be avoided. And honestly, I think that's such a stupid mistake, because it's like you're literally judging someone based on an appearance and a perception of them when you don't even, and then putting them in a box when that's literally what they do to us as trans people. You know what I mean? Like you're literally just doing that back to them. Like it's such a stupid thing to think. Like it's such a reduction. Like I don't think a lot of people understand that all this stuff goes both ways. Like it's not supposed to be like we just dig our heels in the sand on one side of an identity conflict and just like fight another demographic group of people as if they are the cause of the problem. What we need to do is escape the parameters that are produced in an oppressive social relationship entirely. That's the whole point. And that's why I always get angry when people have really stupid takes and reductive, bad analysis about like race, for example, or about like all of the discourse around like, or when trans people say like cis people blah blah blah, because it's like the problem is obviously not that they are cis. The problem is that they don't get it. And you can have a bad conception of gender even if you're trans. Like you can be transphobic even if you're trans, obviously. If you spend any time on the internet, that will reveal itself to you, because you see stupid people on Twitter who make all these exclusionary arguments, and like basically they want to be the only individual who's valid and everyone else is just like not good enough, basically. That kind of mentality. I feel like that holds us back more than most cis people hold us back, to be honest with you. Like that does more damage to us as a group than most cis people do to us as a group. Like people like Blair White, like that whole shtick, that whole thing. It's so like it's literally individual advancement at the expense of all of the people who are suffering for the same reason that you are as an individual. It's so toxic. Like that is, if you're going to call anything toxic, that is toxic. You know what I mean? I think that's such an overused word as well. Like people use that, it literally means nothing anymore. It literally means nothing. Nothing. What the fuck you mean toxic? What? Like people will they just have like a individual distaste for something and they call it like evil. Like it's so like God. I'm I'm fired up now. But I was going to talk more about the fucking Zerka thing I watched. And here's the other part too. Here's the other thing is that I understand that people might feel uncomfortable near masculine people because they were traumatized in some way by a masculine person. But here's the problem with that. That is literally that's your own responsibility. Honestly, that's your own responsibility. Like, I'm not saying it's your own fault. What I'm saying is that that's your subjective experience of reality. It doesn't really say anything about like just because of that, that doesn't mean that all men are bad or that being a man is inherently bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just doesn't mean that. Like, it literally just doesn't mean that. It's just a way that your mind has unfortunately been colored by your experiences that you had against your own will. So it's like you have to, in my opinion, the base thing to do in that kind of a circumstance is to overcome that judgment within yourself. Because I don't understand people who seem like they want to be traumatized. Like, I don't understand people who seem like their neuroses and their pain defines their identity. Like, I feel like I used to be like that when I was younger, kind of a lot. Like, I used to like fully identify with my pain itself. And all that really did for me was it made me go through the world basically feeling as if I was just the problem. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not a good way of conceiving of yourself as a person. It really isn't. Like, it's not even accurate. Like, it just creates this world where you are just constantly at fault for no reason. Like, for no real reason. Like, it's just. But I understand how people can get like that. Like, the other part of that analysis is the fact that you don't get that way by your own accord. Like, it's not just some fucking, like, quote unquote chemical problem in your brain or whatever. It's literally the fact that people treated you like shit. Like, that's literally the source. You know? So I just believe in like I don't know the word. Like, I just believe in like being a strong person, you know? Like, I just honestly believe in like overcoming your past, basically. Like, I really do. But I understand that that's a difficult thing, especially when so many people like don't like, because you probably won't be able to stop thinking of yourself in a self-loathing way unless you remove yourself from the context that is producing that feeling inside of you. Like, you actually, and some people just can't do that. Some people are just, they're literally, they find themselves stuck in a situation where they literally can't get out. Like, you're going to school, like, for example, you're going to school every day and you see the same kids there every day and they are just like bullying you, treating you like garbage, and you report it to people and they do nothing about it, like that kind of situation. Or like what was happening during all of the lockdowns where like people with abusive spouses would literally be trapped in their homes. So literally you're just like trapped in your house with your abuser and you like can't leave, like that kind of thing. Like, I get that. Like, but honestly, I don't think people see the potential they have. Like, I know a lot of like repressive, like closeted online trans women. And I don't think they understand what good they could do for themselves by just disassociating from all of their shitty friends and just living the way that they want instead of dealing with that. You know what I mean? Like, please, I beg of you, if you can do that for yourself right now and you're in that situation, please do it. You won't regret it. You literally won't. And I'm saying that because that's what I wish would have done 2 years ago. That's what I wish I would have done 2 years ago. I literally wish I did that. I literally wish I did that. I wish I had the like wherewithal and the like development and maturity and like perspective and like full realization of my actual conditions that was in to understand the fact that like the person who's getting the full brunt of my like excess pain basically it was totally not the right people. Like I totally should have redirected all of my rage at the people who actually deserved it. You know what I'm saying? Like it was that kind of situation, and I to this day I wish I would have had the realization and the like clarity of vision to have done that and just have said like fuck you to all of those people and literally just dissect them from my life and just do that. You know what I mean? Like just end it there, because it's like it's not worth like fucking over your life even worse than that just to keep shitty friends around who are going to abandon you in the first place. Like you know what I'm saying? Like it's just not worth it. Like it's people, if they don't and they refuse to see you and fully like treat you for like the full rounded human being that you are instead of just this image that is produced in their perception, it's literally almost not even worth it 99% of the time to even be around them. Like why would you waste your life hanging out with people who just want you to play a role? Like they literally just want you, and they literally think when you diverge from their naive fucking narrow perception of you, they think that they can just shove you back in the box. Like they think that they can just abuse you basically. And it's like you honestly, it literally doesn't matter who you are. You literally just don't deserve that. Like nobody deserves that. You should just be able to be yourself and flourish in your full fucking self embodiment. So just if you're in that situation, please don't stay there. Leave that situation. Like, and even if you're in like a romantic relationship where you literally can't do anything, like you're literally like and here's the shitty part about it is I will fully admit I have been so horrible in relationships. I've been so horrible in relationships. Like so fucking over, like I don't really know the perfect word to explain it, but it's this weird like hyper fucking paranoia thing, and it's like it's so fucking cringe, honestly. Like it will ruin your life. Honestly, that will ruin your life. Like if you're in that situation, just get out, cuz like it's not, that's the type of thing I firmly believe you should just like cut it off and then try again at a later date, cuz it's like it's not, some people need to hit the bottom to hit their top. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm the type of person where I needed everything to collapse in order to change. Like you know what I mean? Like it's literally necessary. Like some things, not I'm not the type of person to say, "Oh, everything happens for a reason, blah blah blah." But it's like some things do definitely happen and then there's results. You know what I mean? Like you know what I'm trying to say? Like don't, I'm becoming the type of person where I just think that if you're in a shitty situation, you should get out of it. That's that like You know what I mean? Because it's like, I wish I would have lived my life so much differently in like all of the time before a year ago. You know what I mean? Like I've only really been really being myself for like a year. Like you know what I mean? Like I honestly have like it's been so fucked up and it's so sad. Like I wish I could tell you in detail all of the shit that has happened. But it's like it's just so horrible that I literally have like regrets. Like I literally have like, oh my god, like if I could go back in time, it would be so different. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's not good to live your life with like chains on you like that, like of regrets. Like it's better to just like see it as like you're learning from your mistakes. But honestly, like it can get so bad that it's literally like you will just regret certain things like forever. Like it's just, you know, like certain things they go a certain way and it's like it really did not have to be that way. You know what I mean? Like if I would have done this different, it would not have been like that. You know what I'm saying? Like god damn. But honestly, I think in every situation except for the one that really matters to me, I blame myself too much. Like I have a tendency to blame myself too much. Otherwise, honestly, a lot of the shit, like all those old friends I used to talk to and shit, it's literally their problem. Like it wasn't my it's literally them. Like there wasn't much I could have gone back and done besides break it off, you know? Cuz it's like it's just so fucking not worth being treated like that. You know what I'm saying? Like why do people let that happen? Like, I know so many people on Twitter who let that happen to themselves, and I try to tell them to get out of it, and they just don't. They're like, oh, these are the only friends I have. It's like, honestly, it's better if you had no friends than these people. It's better if you have no friends than these people. Because, like, do people understand that, like, you're gonna get older? Like, there's gonna be a time in your life where you probably don't have any friends, quote unquote. Like you just don't. You know what I mean? Like that's gonna happen anyway. So just like, who cares? Like you don't have to. Your life should not be based in like your sense of self-worth should not depend on a group of dumbasses that you like smoke weed with. Like it just shouldn't. Like it's not productive to you as a human being. I don't think. Like it's just not. I honestly believe that like you should just kind of be strong in your own self first and foremost before you allow anyone to make your self-worth depend on their perception of you. You know what I mean? That's like the wisdom I've learned. That's honestly the wisdom I've learned. Because people just don't. Honestly, people think they know you, they don't know you. It's tragic, but it's literally the truth. Like, that's the sad truth of how people work. Like, we think we know each other, we kind of don't know each other. And it was so obvious. It was made so obvious to me with so many of my old friends that it's like, wow, you really do not know who I am as a human being. You just have no clue. Like you literally don't know me. Yet you act as though you have it all figured out. You act as if you have it all fucking figured out. And it's so like I just don't like that type of thing. You know what I mean? Like you act as though you determine me and you just don't. Like I like oh, god damn. And it was so shitty cuz I used to just play the performance. Like I used to just I used to just be whoever was around me saw me as at any given moment. And then at the end of the day, I would be miserable because it's like no one really knows who I am inside as a human being. They don't know me as a person. They just know this me that I put on for them. Like, it was just so sad. Like, it was so sad. But I had a sense of that kind of thing even before my identity switched. Like, I felt that way. I felt like my friends didn't really know who I was fully, and like not just know me, but like appreciate me. Like, so much of me as a person went so unappreciated in so many of my relationships with people for so long. Like it came to a point where I realized that many times, like a lot of my old friends, like they just didn't appreciate the things about me that I liked about myself the most. They didn't, like, I've always been like very like creative, and I'm the type of person where it's like I want to do stuff, dude. Like I want to, like, I was always the person who was like trying to get us as a group of friends to like do something together, like creatively. Like, do like a YouTube channel, like something like that. Like, do something. Like create something. Like as a group. Like, I always wanted to be in a creative coalition. But all of the other people, it seems like they never, or like a band, for example, like music. Like, I always wanted to be, like, I was always throughout high school trying to get people to group up together and just make a fucking album together. Like, not giving a fuck about like popularity, or like, oh, will this get played on the radio, or like, oh, is this what people want to hear, quote unquote, right? No, just I just want to fucking create something for the sake of its creation, and the fact that these people are cool. Like let's, like, literally just for us. Like, let's just do something for us, and let's make a statement as well, like creatively, culturally, artistically. Like, let's make a fucking noise. Like, let's fucking shock people. Like, let's be weirdos. Like let's actually be something that is significant in the world, that stands out, that actually makes a statement and says something, like, that changes the game. But all the other people around me never fucking had the, like, they didn't have the motivation or the ambition or the, like, desire to do it. Like, it just never went the full way that it could have gone if I had more people who were really into it and really wanted that. Like, and I realized so many times the fact that, like, that creative side of me, so many people in my life just didn't care about it. Like, they didn't, and their presence was actively suppressing it. Like, they would literally, it was as if their whims and wants and wishes and, like, simplistic everyday fucking desires were more important than my, like, big long-term vision for, like, a thing that we could do and escape this shitty fucking status quo lifestyle and, like, go do something that's, like, big and different and like we gotta start now because we're young, you know what I mean? Like, I always had that fucking foresight because I never wanted to enter, and I don't want to be a fucking regular everyday, like, worker, because it's like that life is so, it seems so shitty, like and I understand the exploitation behind it. Like it's like, you know what I mean? Like, I just always wanted to do something to escape that world, like, so I can support myself and do something I actually want. But I never really had the people around that I needed to really propel me in that direction. So it's like, it's just, and not only that, but like, I've dealt with a lot of fucking quote unquote toxic masculinity myself. Like all those old people I used to, like, it was such a cringy environment like that. Like it was so fucking like there's so many big egos and so much like bullshit, like stupid disputes over nothing basically, and just like you know what I mean? And like denigrating each other for no fucking reason, and just so much shit that I just found so stupid for so long. And it's just, I just honestly, I'm not happy with the way that my teenage years went. Like I'm just really not. I'm really disappointed. Honestly, I'm really fucking disappointed. Like, but I have good memories, and I have good, like, there were good phases like scattered in between all of the shit. But other than that, it's like, wow. Like I think about my friend situation in the last 10 years, and it's like it's so bleak, and I'm so glad that I'm out of there. Like I'm so glad. You don't understand, there's so many people that I just am so happy, honestly, that I don't have to talk to anymore. But I wish I would have had the like power to like draw a boundary in the sand and like tell them like fuck you. Like you know what I mean? Like literally tell them like this is over, dude. Like you know what I mean? Like I wish I had that kind of, I wish I saw as clearly as I do now back then. But honestly, I was so like, it's easy for me to be affected by people. Like it's easy for me to like feel bad for people, and like I always gave people way too many chances, doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting a different result. You know what I mean? Like literally like rolling the wheel down the hill, like expecting it not to keep rolling. Like literally like don't be like that. Literally don't be like that. Especially if you're in fucking high school right now, don't waste your time. Literally, that's my advice. Don't waste your fucking time. Don't waste your time. Be a powerful Sigma individual. Say fuck you to people when they treat you like garbage, and just treat yourself better. Like, literally. Like, you need to understand that you, like, this seems like a stupid individualistic thing to say, but, like, you are probably a way better person than you think you are. Honestly. Like, you are probably, like, capable of so many things that you don't even understand yet. But I don't know. I feel kind of preachy at this point. Like I feel like I feel like a motivational speaker right now. It's kind of cringe. Like I don't want that to be my thing. But um I just regret the way that things went. You know what I mean? Like it could have been so much better. I did not need to put up with all of that shit. I literally never did. Like, and it's so cruel. Like, I wish I could tell you the details of, like, because as a trans person who is, like, qualifies as pansexual, like, a lot of shit has happened where, let's just say that I've probably been like quote unquote abused way more than a lot of people would admit. You know what I mean? Like yeah, like certain relationships I've had with people, I still kind of am not like it's just never going to be like one of my old friends comes to mind in particular where it's like it's really never gonna be it's never gonna be a thing again unless they prove to me that it's like worth associating with them, because it's like otherwise it's like, dude, you have put me through so much that you don't even know, like you don't even realize it seems. and you're still an idiot. Like you still don't acknowledge me for who I actually am. So it's like, why the fuck would I even speak to you? Literally, I'm pretty sure I walk by this person on the street, I ignore them. I sigma ignore them because it's like, fuck you, dude. Like I don't need you in my life. I literally don't need you in my life. I don't. And you put me through so much that it's at the point where it's like, you gotta change, dude. Like, it's not my problem, it's your problem. And I have the ability to recognize the fact that I've been in situations where it's the other way around. It's me. You know what I mean? Like, but people don't get it. Like, it seems like people really don't get change and the fact that you can change as a person. Like, it seems like there's this trend in our culture where we don't want to admit that that's possible. And we want to just assume that everyone has some kind of inherent evil or good. And it's all just, life is all just about sorting people into the two boxes. But it's like, that's such a stupid way of living your life. Like, that's, honestly, that is such a overly moralistic, judgmental way of being. Like, that's not what I'm endorsing. What I'm saying is that, like, you should take care of yourself. That's the bottom line. You know what I mean? That doesn't mean treating people as if they're inherently evil. It literally just means, like, at some point in a situation you have to withdraw. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. And it literally doesn't mean, that literally does not mean that nothing will ever happen in the future. It literally just means that you got to do a little rendezvous. You got to do a little escapism. You got to do a little escape route, a line of flight before that is even possible. Because, like I said, like, some relationships just have to end. Some people have to end their connections in order to, like, rekindle it. Like, it's just the way it is. Like, I really do believe that, but I don't know if a lot of these people are even ever gonna be worth it to me. So but it's on them. It's not really on me. So, because it's so fucked up. Because this is the last thing I'll say about it. These same people have told me, and we've had conversations about the fact that I am a woman, and they've told me they don't care. They tell me all this shit, but still, they don't associate with me. They removed me on all of these accounts, and they still to this day they don't refer to me by my pronouns. So it's like, fuck you, dude. Like, it's such a fucked up situation where I literally don't know. I don't even know how you see me anymore. Like, I don't even know. You know what I mean? Like, it's, and you can't play that double game with trans people, dude. You can't play that two sides where you say, "Oh, I'm okay with it," but then you literally suppress it in your language. Like, you just can't play two sides like that. That's fucking literally, you're contradicting yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't do that. I don't want to even, honestly, I'm the type of person now, I'm a very solitary person in my life recently because I want it to be that way. Literally, I don't, this is kind of arrogant, but I literally believe this. Like, this is the type of shit that makes people probably think I'm narcissistic, but honestly, this is probably the truth. 99.99% of people, they just don't deserve me. Like I'm saying that like as a romantic partner, they just don't deserve me. So it's like I really do fundamentally believe that, honestly. Like I'm just not interested in the vast majority of human beings in that way. Like I'm just not. Like, and even like being friends with people, like sometimes I am lonely, sometimes I wish I had friends, but it's like I don't need any. Honestly, I don't need any. I'm on the Sigma grind set and I just don't like like I just I'm completely fine living this way right now, honestly. Like it's taken a while for me to get to this point where it's like, yeah, I actually want this, but it's like, yeah, I do. Like it's not I don't feel like being around people who are so fucking ignorant and proud in their ignorance, and they have such a stupid fucking perception of me as a person. And it's like, you try to tell them that that's the problem in the relationship, and then they attack you as if it's like you are the problem. It's so like, once that happened to me, I just decided I'm just gonna be more reclusive now. Like I'm just not gonna like, if this is how people see me and are going to treat me, I don't want to talk to them. So it's just, yeah. So many people I've given so much emotional energy to never deserve me in the first place. That's just the truth. Like, prove me wrong. It's literally up to them to prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. Literally. Like, I wish you would. I wish you weren't like this, but you are. And it's because a lot of people seem to not believe that change exists. They don't want to change themselves. So fuck you, like literally, like. But I've been going for so long and I just feel like I've ranted enough. So, yeah, I'm not going to talk about myself anymore. I honestly hate that. Like I don't want to come on here and just ramble about my own fucking personal life. So, it's kind of like I don't want to show like that. Like it's not that wasn't the goal, but yeah, that's what happened anyway. I guess thank you for like wasting your time listening to this. And I'll see you next week. Hopefully with a guest. I've been thinking about inviting that reactionary guy, that neo-reactionary Nick Land guy in our Discord to the podcast to like see what he believes and like ask him a bunch of questions. It's gonna be like an interview, kind of like interviewing a Landian Dark Enlightenment guy. I might do that, so stay tuned for that one. And hopefully this doesn't take too long to upload, because I want to upload something else today as well. So yeah. Bye.